Coming up in this video, we get disturbed at our breakfast. Bayeux Cathedral impresses us.
And I feel inadequate.
Uniquely, the guns are still left in this battery, and we discover where all these tractors are going, and we are really worried about this man. Welcome to the channel. That's Harry, our camper van, and that's me, Jane, and here's Stu, and we love to share with you our van life adventures. We're up early this morning because we slept in quite a large, I don't know if is it a public car park?
It's the Abbey car park.
It's the Abbey car park. But there's a school there, and actually the teachers started arriving from 7 o'clock in the morning. They obviously start earlier, and we've just driven past now at 8:10. And there's a lot of kids playing outside, so they obviously start school earlier. So we thought we'd get out of the way. It's probably the first park up that we've done that we felt we needed to move quite early in the morning. We didn't think it was appropriate to still be around. And that's another reason why I'm not coordinated this morning. Haven't had breakfast, so I'm up early and haven't had breakfast. It's two things.
So you're getting hungry?
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
I learned a park-up lesson last night. I had a bit of it, I wouldn't say disturbed. Once I got to sleep I was fine and that, but we were parked near a speed bump. Of course, every time something came over you heard this cuckoo. So don't park next to a speed bump.
I didn't hear that. I was well away. I was tired. In fact, we were so tired that we relied on a baguette and brie yet again for tea. So that's 2 nights in a row.
So we've got a plan today. I spent a bit of time when I parked up last night just looking where we're going today. So today we want to go to, we're not far from I'm saying Bayeux. It's the Bayeux or Bayeux, but we're going to go and try and get breakfast there. So we haven't had breakfast yet, so we're going to treat ourselves to breakfast. We'll choose battery yesterday. We looked really good. It was quite busy, but we looked at it late last night, so we want to go back and spend a bit of time there. And then we'll find a park up probably a bit earlier today, I think, so we can have proper tea. We're going to have curry tonight. So I promised a curry, so we're going to have chicken curry tonight.
We had trouble with park ups yesterday, which is unusual. This was our 3rd park up. Our first one would have been spectacular, and I probably would have stopped. It was at park up for 1 or 2. But Stu felt it was a bit too close to the other van, and it was right over the cliff top. It looked fantastic.
I was a bit evasive on the one that were there. I think if we were there, we'd have been a bit more frustrated, but anyway, we didn't.
Yeah, and then the next one we went to, I must admit, it was quite exposed in a car park. And there was an old, I don't know if we've got footage, I hope we have, there was an
old VW.
Yeah, really old VW there with a girl with a camera on a tripod, pointing into the van, and I was convinced she was stalking through the van at somebody. I don't know why. As Stu said, she may have just been, yeah, but what did you say? She was interviewing somebody.
She's probably interviewing somebody in the van. I was probably doing some shots in the van of travel. They're probably doing travel logs like us, believe it or not.
I think she was a stalker. I often think it's odd, but then I suppose people see me doing this, wonder who the hell I'm talking to. We're trying to get away without doing a wash before we go back.
Not ourselves.
No, we'll wash ourselves. I said we're trying to get away without doing a wash. What I meant was we're going to wash, obviously. But we're that close to sort of just being able to last with our clothes. So we're really starting.
I found 2 new t-shirts last night, so I reckon I can do it.
Oh, that was unpleasant.
I didn't see any signs leading up to that, did you?
No, well, I didn't because I had my head.
Don't worry, it's too late. Bayou's rush hour. Is it Bayou? But it won't be Bayou. Bayou. Oh, there's car park spaces in there.
So we're looking for a car space.
Anything in the car park you can see?
No. Oh, no, that looks full. Could go in and drive through.
We seem to be really struggling to find a car park, but set another target right in the centre to see if we can get lucky.
You're delivering the package.
Oh God, I keep thinking that's the passenger getting out.
Oh, okay, we're definitely in the centre of the town here.
Yeah, I think we're definitely, yeah.
And we finally find a place.
Yeah, we spotted a cafe that looked open and busy, which is always a good sign. Eggs, bacon, sausage, beans, tomato.
No, you're going to have to say no beans for you.
I don't want to full breakfast.
I'll have a full English shovel.
They seem to be supporters of the UK royal family, with the cafe name and pictures on the wall. And I'm not convinced 100% that they realise that some of them aren't real. Or maybe it's just their sense of humour.
I think he's looking for scraps. So I'm alright with him because he's taken no notice. Oh yes. Okay. I think he's looking for scraps.
You ain't got none here.
Yeah.
Every man for himself.
Stu's had been getting brief the last 2 months.
So we just had breakfast, and I had to go back to Harry because I'd stupidly only put 2 hours on the ticket, because we want to go and see the tapestry and also go to the cathedral, so that won't be enough time. So I went back and thought, oh, I've just got to go and buy another ticket. So I went to pay. You have to put your reg in, and it recognised obviously that the reg had already been used, and there was an option to add more time to the ticket. So it just cost me another €1. So it was I think it was €3 for about 4 hours, which is crazy. Really good. Pretty old town, eh? That's the cathedral, that is.
And I'd love to know how old that tree is. That's a big tree. And I've only just noticed they've got those.
The cathedral did not disappoint. Bayeux Cathedral is also known as Cathedral of Our Lady of Bayeux. And I think you'll agree that's a really interesting modern stained glass window. And as usual, it's free to enter, and once again the architecture really takes us aback. The cathedral sits on a site that was once occupied by the Romans. Today's cathedral was consecrated on the 14th of July 1077 in the presence of William, Duke of Normandy. The Norman cathedral was partly destroyed during the civil war between the sons of William the Conqueror, and it was then subsequently reconstructed. And it was probably the original home of the Bayeux tapestry, which is now located in a nearby building.
I'm getting an inferiority complex. Now that's what you call a camera and a gimbal.
It was a truly beautiful building, and the stained glass was actually one of the best that we've ever seen. So we highly recommend it if you're in the area.
Lots of school trips, coach trips, popular area with the cathedral, the tapestries, all sorts of museums in Bayeux.
If you're struggling to decide what to do with your old pans, then maybe here's an idea for you.
Now I decided to abort going to see the Bayeux tapestry, as I feel we should move on and wasn't feeling it, to be frank. Now, did I make a mistake? Let us know in the comments if you have been and if it was worth the visit. So it's time to get our daily fix of military history, seeing as we're in Normandy, and we travel back out to the coast to a German battery we noticed yesterday at Longues-Sur-Mer. This battery is situated on a 60-metre cliff and was part of Hitler's Atlantic Wall defences. The battery lay between the British Gold Beach to the east and the American Omaha Beach to the west. On the 6th of June, its guns opened fire on the Allied naval forces that supported both beach landings. The Allies, however, managed to take it out of action on the first day by its shore bombardments. It was fully captured on the second day on the 7th of June. This battery is unique with its original guns left in place and was listed as a historical monument in 2001. There are 4 casements in total on the site, with the walls and roofs being about 2 metres thick. These guns are 15cm naval guns that were manufactured in the Skoda works in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, that was controlled then by the Germans. You can see the rifling in the barrel quite clearly, and it's really great you have open access to the site. The guns had a range of 20 kilometres or 12 miles. We walk up to the cliff edge to take a look at the command post. The walkway today is being cleared by the looks, and a good job that we both don't suffer from hay fever. The command post would have had a clearer view than today, with those trees in front now filling the space. There was also an armoured electrical communication system to each gun casement, helping them to spot and make adjustments to any target they were firing at. We really enjoyed this site, and again, one for your bucket list if you're in the area.
Well, we now head to one of the Omaha Beach locations, at Vanlife, which on June the 6th, 1944 was the scene of one of the most difficult landings for the Allies to take and break through. Now, there's several museums and military cemeteries in this area, all telling the story in their own way of D-Day, and in particular the Omaha landing. We didn't go to them as we were a bit museumed out by this stage, so instead we went straight to the beach. The American forces landing along this front were faced with many challenges. Not least of all with the weather, blowing many landing craft from their intended target. The German defences were robust and had the advantage of inside positions high on the cliff tops with experienced soldiers. Unfortunately, by the end of the first day there were many casualties. But through improvised local heroic acts, the Americans had started to penetrate the German forces in places. They have their own tour guide telling them the historical activities on that dramatic day. And we simply sat in our camping chairs at the same point that heroism and tragedy took place. And we couldn't fail to realise the sacrifice that was made here that day. And it was especially poignant with the 80th anniversary coming up. Well, another fascinating day is coming to an end and we're heading for a coastal park-up. The first has a height barrier, having turned off the main road down a track. And the beauty of Harry once again is a 3-point turn in a narrow lane is generally never an issue for us. The second stop close by turns out to be a really interesting location. Oh, and of course a place where Stu can cook that curry he promised me. It's a great little park-up, and it's probably got room for about 4 vans. But make sure that you don't block the access, as we soon find out that this is the gateway for what is effectively farming at sea. With the tide currently out, there's a high level of activity with a constant stream, and I mean stream, of tractors driving down onto the beach and shallow waters beyond to farm oysters. And I'm in absolute awe of their core strengths as the workers go past balancing on the trailers as they venture out at low tide to harvest mature oysters or set out younger ones. It's obviously a natural feeding ground for them. We get Tom the drone up and we soon discover the extent of the farming. With several companies in the area, the lines of oyster beds can easily be seen, and we assume they must have some form of licence to put the oyster beds out there. Please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to see more adventures like this one. The sandflies were abundant, so Stu deploys the midge nets, and they offered us great protection in the later afternoon and evening. we prepare a curry. But we've made it easy on ourselves with a simple jarred curry sauce. And I have to say, it was yummy. And as always, we nearly forgot to film the end result.
It's alright, isn't it?
Mm.
And it looks like the shift is over as the tide is coming in and the workers return back to the base. Now you need to be aware that this activity occurs when the tide is low, which obviously could be at various parts of the day and night. So be prepared for the sound of many tractors passing through this busy gateway onto the beach. But I can guarantee you'll never be short of something to watch. And for us personally, we found it no issue, and actually comforting to know that this industry is thriving. I'm on washing duties today.
High tide's in another 2.25 hours. I can't even see any water. Stu says it'll be up here.
Jane's worried somebody stole the sea.
Yeah, it's stolen the water. Where is this water coming from in 2.5 hours?
Now we apologise for the shaky footage, but we were on maximum zoom and we really wanted to show you this fisherman wading in the incoming tide.
Oh, I was going to say, it's hard to appreciate how much that's zoomed in.
That's on 40 times zoom.
He must be up to his thighs now, I reckon.
And we were getting really concerned about him and worried that he was going to either get stranded or fall over. But he obviously knew what he was doing as he made it back. But I certainly wouldn't let Stu out there for sure.